Narcissist, Infidelity Coach. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The internet has brought with it many interesting things. It allows you access to a massive amount of information and knowledge, although you do have to exercise some critical thinking as to whether you believe everything that you read on the internet. It enables you to stream television programs and films. You can order goods and services from all around the world. It enables you to play games against people from all around the world, connect with people from all around the globe, and therefore has brought much entertainment, enrichment, and convenience to many people. Of course, we know the dark aspects of the internet. The fact that it can expose people to cyberbullying, that there are fraudsters that walk those cyber corridors, that there are greater opportunities for people to engage in criminal activity, the utilization of the purchase and selling of drugs through the dark web, the exchange of outlawed pornography, the dissemination of hate-filled ideas, and, of course, greater opportunity to utilize the internet for the purposes of the commission of infidelity. That it allows access to more people, which can then lead to a sexual encounter, that it can prove a conduit for people to exchange pictures and films of themselves, sending the old nudes, engaging in flirtation, perhaps hunting down that old flame from school and rekindling the relationship, or scouring the internet for people who are willing to hook up for no-strings-attached sex. It also has resulted in a proliferation of often rather meaningless occupations that have sprung up. Chief amongst this, of course, is the influencer, an odious set of individuals who are both vacuous and really don't create anything of use. There's also the fact that it enables you to understand more about certain topics. And here we have something called the Infidelity Coach. Yes, apparently that's a thing. And a journalist from the Times has interviewed this individual who clearly is a narcissist but doesn't realize it, and neither does the journalist. I'm going to go through the interview identifying all of the narcissist indicators for you in relation to this individual to enable you to have a better understanding of yet another manifestation of the narcissist, and the way that once again the world often fails to spot this. That by holding himself out as an infidelity coach, even though that would be rather unpalatable to people, they still fail to recognize and realize what this man actually is, and how his behaviors in being this infidelity coach are driven by his own narcissism. Michael Odell writes, "It's a beautiful day in Barcelona. The sun is high like a gold coin tossed into the blue sky, and the coffee and pastries on La Rambla are good. Meanwhile, my wife is grafting more than 700 miles away in cold, grey London. But she sends me a cute text. Call that work? Enjoy, you lucky fucker. The sort of peppy message that keeps a mature, trusting marriage going. Life couldn't really be better, or could it? It turns out it could. Much better. All I need is to arrange to have rampant cheat sex with an online hookup in the certain knowledge I will never get caught. Everyone would do it if they knew for certain there wouldn't be consequences," says a voice in my head. Except the voice isn't in my head. It's what the bold Spanish guy sitting opposite me is saying. His name is Albert Arnaez, and he is offering to coach me in how to have an affair with zero chance of discovery. Interference in relationship, lack of boundary recognition. Do it, he encourages. You will learn so much about who you really are, become a better version of yourself. Flattery, delusion. This is the modern world. In the digital age, no one settles for one person anymore. sense of entitlement. You only have one life, live it. Arnase's 7-step method to cheating is elucidated in his book, Secret. It stands for secrecy, hearing, intimating, cohabiting, how to live alongside the person you are deceiving, reiterating, cheating over and over again, evading, and terminating. It's an extraordinarily saucy manual for the duplicitous shagger. Arnase has obviously put a lot of work into it. I have had the most incredible sex life. Boast, he informs me. The adrenaline, the adventure. I don't recommend it for people who get anxious easily, but for everyone else, eat from the feast. Arnase and I are sitting at a pavement cafe in central Barcelona. There are beautiful Spanish women at every table, and Arnase, a handsome, eye-catching dresser, is already attracting sideways glances. But it is the salmon-coloured sports jacket that would put him straight in contention for a Miami Vice remake, or the fact that he very earnestly and loudly admits to having had sex in a cinema. Boast, lack of boundary recognition. Mostly, I have enjoyed digital infidelities, partners I find on a site, use of a hunting ground. But some of the most pleasurable are analogue encounters. You meet someone in a bar and there's a movie starting in 10 minutes, let's go. Note the speed at which he moves it to an intimate relationship, demonstrative of the speed by which the narcissist needs to gain control over somebody. Arnase is 43. He is in a committed relationship, one wonders for how much longer, and has a 6-year-old daughter, but this stability is quite new. Born in Barcelona, he was 17 when he had his first girlfriend. That relationship lasted 2 years, and he was faithful. However, after that, he was in a long-term relationship that lasted 13 years. He cheated a lot. Commission of infidelity, absence of emotional empathy, sense of entitlement. Maybe 100 times in 3 or 4 years, he claims. It was like a drug for me, blame shifting. I don't believe in marriage, and the term lovemaking doesn't convince me. I prefer to call it fucking. His current relationship began with infidelity. Both he and his partner cheated after meeting on a website for people wanting an affair. Conducting an affair? Use of a hunting ground. Has his partner read Secret? Yes, she thinks I'm crazy, but she's trying to be supportive. Are your cheating days over? Who knows? I'm sure his partner will be pleased to hear that. Lack of accountability. Inevitably, there is an accompanying podcast. I get coffee all down my front when he tells me that in real life he is a college lecturer. He teaches marketing at 2 places in the city. Most of my students know about my book, he smiles. Lack of facade. It's funny to see how they regard me in class sometimes. What about the college principal? I'm not sure. I don't talk too much about it with her. In Spain, his book has caused quite a stir, and Arnase has dutifully toured the talk show sofas. The reason his manifesto for cheating resonates, he claims, is that there is a boom in female infidelity, blame shifting. Globally, 40% more women are unfaithful than 35 years ago, he says. They are better at it. They are cooler and less clumsy than men about keeping secrets. And we now know that the last year of each decade from the age of 29, so 29, 39, all the way to 69 is when people most want to have an affair. Now, pausing there. It is not the case that every single person that cheats or has an affair is a narcissist. I've made that clear in other instances that people can engage in infidelity, which is a narcissistic trait, for a variety of different reasons. In some instances, they would never do so except that it is a narcissist that comes along and interferes in their existing relationship, and as a consequence of the manipulations of the narcissist and their emotional thinking, they're compelled to engage in the commission of infidelity. In other instances, it might be that the individual is in a relationship with a narcissist and the abuse that they're experiencing reduces their emotional empathy for the narcissist abuser, so they go and have a relationship with somebody else. So it's not just narcissists that cheat, but many narcissists do. And the observation that women are better at it, they're cooler and less clumsy, is applicable to the proportion of narcissists that cheat that are women, because more female narcissists are mid-range who engage in more covert behaviours. Therefore, amongst lessers, more lessers are male than female, and therefore when they cheat, they do so in a rather obvious way, hence the clumsiness with which men are referred to. Amongst the mid-rangers, there are more female mid-rangers than there are male mid-rangers, so those that commit infidelity are more likely to keep it covered up as part of facade management. The article continues by explaining that in the United Kingdom, he says, 34% of men and women would cheat if they could be sure of not getting caught. In France, the figure is 47%. In Brazil, they don't seem to be able to keep their pants on. According to Arnaise, 80% of the population have already cheated with someone else. Which brings us to the UK's problem with sex. I have never had sex with a British woman, but I think that you and others from Northern Europe are not so comfortable with the idea of cheating, except the rich and powerful ones, of course. What does he mean? The rich and powerful in your country have always done as they please. Look at your king, Narcissist. He is on the throne with a woman he had an affair with. And Boris Johnson, Narcissist, a man greedy for women. But the digital age is making desire available to everyone, so I believe you will learn to take more chances. Spanish people might be more relaxed about infidelity, he says, but sometimes they are still shocked by the most egregious cases. 6 miles west of where we are sitting is the upscale Espluge de l'Orbarat area, and there is the 5-story mansion where, until recently, the Colombian pop star Shakira and former Barcelona player Gerard Piqué lived with their 2 sons, Milan, 11, and Sasha, 9. That is, until Shakira allegedly discovered Piqué, 37, was having an affair with a woman 12 years his junior called Clara Chia Marti. Shakira is a global sex symbol. Chia Marti was an intern at an events company Piqué owns. The Shakira Piqué case gets to the crux of it for Arnaise. He doesn't have a problem with Piqué cheating, but he is outraged because he reportedly got caught. Lack of moral compass. Never bring a lover to the house. Never. It's in my rules. It's listed in a section called Places to Fuck Around. You have to find another place. A car, a forest, a bathroom. There's a strange morality at work here. Indeed there is, because you're dealing with the morality, or that's what it's called, with a narcissist. Arnaise is also very angry on Shakira's behalf, character trait acquisition, because of the way Piqué's alleged affair was apparently discovered. Many people in Spain, like me, think Piqué is a bastard, because not only did he let another woman into the family home, but Shakira faced the pain of discovering this infidelity when she saw food had gone missing from her kitchen. Note the double standards of this man, that he compiles a manual of how to go around fucking people and not get caught, but then he criticises the behaviour of somebody that's been having an affair and fucking other people, the very behaviour that he advocates in his manual. I guess Shakira found out the hard way. Chips don't lie, or in this case, apparently it was strawberry jam, which Chia Marti ate from her fridge. This eating of the victim's food is unacceptable, says Arnaise. The whole reason you cheat but don't get caught is so that nobody faces pain. This is evidently some kind of skewed moral high ground that he adopts. Piqué didn't take care of this. Okay, I'm not going to have an affair, but I guess it can't hurt to know a little more about how it all works. Arnaise laughs when I say this. Yes, a lot of people are buying my book because they want to check the signs their partner is not fucking another one, he says. First thing first, don't buy a hard copy of his book, read it on a tablet and keep the passwords secure. And don't get caught looking for partners on Tinder or Hinge, hunting grounds. Use dedicated cheat sites like Ashley Madison. The French cheating website specifically marketed to women called Leiden. It's free for female subscribers and famously has a panic button for exiting the site if suddenly disturbed. And married dating site Victoria Milan. Arnaise is similarly thorough with his advice on choosing someone to have an affair with. When you first call a prospective partner, focus on voice, rhythm and tone. They might just be talking about the weather or their favourite film, but it should sound like they are already having sex with you. This is demonstrative of the entitled mindset that he has, but also the way that the narcissist is looking for certain signals in order to determine an appropriate victim. They show being horny just by talking, he says. Same for you. Be thinking what you would like to do to this person in the bedroom while speaking about ordinary things. They will hear those thoughts in your voice. Wow. I remember the first time I spoke to my wife, we talked about the fact that train tickets from Bristol to London were cheaper if you changed at Didcot Parkway, states the author. When you find someone to cheat with, Arnaise is also scornful of what he calls micro-infidelities, such as sending a saucy text or photo. Meet them and have sex for real. He gets quite passionate about this. In fact, he does that thing that modern politicians do, casting himself as the little guy fighting back against an implacable establishment blob. Delusion, sense of being some kind of saviour in relation to behaviours which are actually going to cause problems in people's relationships. It's terrible how big tech has made infidelity so virtual. What are they doing to us? We need to stop browsing and cross the boundary to real intimacy, or what have we become? It's crucial, he argues, to manage your guilt. Well, he doesn't actually have any. He just believes that he does. The relationship self and the unfaithful self must coexist. Blame shifting. The separation by the narcissist of, what I'm doing is okay, but it's something else that's caused the problem. Guilt will pass, he says, but your long-term partner knows you better than anyone. So you must skillfully manage your eye contact, your breathing, and even your perspiration. All that is part of the skill, to remain cool and evade capture. And you know, it's part of the excitement. Arnaise was born in Barcelona. His dad was a truck driver and his mother an administrator. His confidence is attractive, so are his big shiny teeth. I can imagine a lover feeding him apples from a flattened hand. But I'm just waiting to hear about the childhood trauma that made him such an incorrigible and duplicitous shagger. I wait in vain. There isn't anything. I had a very normal upbringing, he says. Now, that may not be the truth, but he knows enough to manage a particular facade. But my family have made it clear they don't like what I'm doing with this book, even though they respect that I have skills to teach. Boast. Those skills include tips on allaying a partner's suspicions. For example, if you say you're going shopping and your partner becomes suspicious, throw them off the scent by actually going shopping. That's gaslighting, isn't it? The point is you are protecting them from this terrible feeling, jealousy. Again, notice this false concept of, I'm doing you a favour. I'm cheating on you, which is actually devaluing behaviour. I am shitting all over our relationship, but I'm ensuring that you don't find out about it. I'm doing you a favour. It once again demonstrates his skewed thinking of justifying his behaviour. That although he knows what he's doing is wrong, he justifies it, that it's appropriate, and that he's allowed to do it, demonstrating his sense of entitlement and blame shifting. I notice that his book cover shows his middle name as XL. Mine is Charles, and other people I know have middle names like Paul or Simon. Why is he called XL? Why do you think? Arnaise has big feet, and I see from his snug jeans that he dresses significantly to the left. Boast. Shakira is making waves in Spain. He was all over the TV on his American book tour in September. If the success continues, he aims to give up teaching and become an infidelity coach full-time. He already charges €1,000 for a short course. I've coached CEOs from big companies. They're busy and they want to learn quickly how to have an affair, but also protect their reputations. The money, of course, being a residual benefit. These days, an affair can cost you a career you have spent years building. Not getting caught can be worth hundreds of thousands of euros. The rewards are obvious. Although he says affairs occur due to waning emotional intimacy and boredom, the case studies in his book mostly speak of people popping the cork on massively repressed sexual desire. Having spent an afternoon with him, I have a suspicion these anonymous female case studies all involve him, which wouldn't be a surprise, of course, that he would want to talk about himself. Maybe, he says, let me just tell you that it is usually a lie when people say they had an affair because they were emotionally unfulfilled. They wanted great sex, that's the truth. While I am sipping my coffee, and I suppose possibly looking a little sceptical, even judgmental, Arne says I would make a good cheat. I get to spend time away from home. I like to chat, and I've made him laugh. I told him, looks-wise, he reminds me of the Man City manager, Pep Guardiola. The main difference between being that Arne's only likes playing away from home. I suppose the journalist wanted to say that in order to put that gag in there. You've never really cheated, he asks me. I take another sip of coffee and wipe away a creamy top-lip moustache. Yes, actually, I did cheat once. I was in my early 20s and did the dirty on my first serious girlfriend, but hey, she cheated first. She went away for a weekend and came back acting all distant, saying the passion in our relationship was gone and there's a whole world out there to explore. It was an incredibly painful experience. I'd never had a proper girlfriend before and felt so suburban and guileless. We struggled on, but the whole thing shook my confidence. So when an opportunity presented itself, I took it. I discovered that in relation terms, I'd been on dial-up when there'd been a 5G internet all the time. I met someone who really liked me rather than just tolerated me. And forbidden sex can be very intense. There's an old Stax song, "If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right," which totally captures the erotic charge of infidelity. And yet pretty soon guilt gnaws away at the soul. Being unfaithful really does hurt people. Arnaise disagrees. He thinks it serves a higher purpose. Notice again the justification of his behaviour. 80% of the people who cheat still manage to save their relationship, he says. An affair can make you a bigger, happier person. Well, from all of the people that I consult with, whereby their partners have cheated on them, naturally they're narcissists, they certainly have not been bigger or happier people. The journalist comments, easy for him to say, has he ever been cheated on? If someone has cheated on me, they never told me. Arrogance, he says, but that's life. I accept it might happen. The T in Shakira is for termination. You must end the affair. Arnaise is quite prescriptive about this. The more intense, the quicker it should finish. If you're having sex every week, it should end after 3 months. Notice the ability to dispense with people, treating them like objects. If you only see each other once a month, you might survive a year. Ending it will reduce the chances of getting caught. Afterwards, you relax a while, you consider what you learnt. Is this a frog or a prince, someone you want to be with longer? If no, then you can start again. And be warned, cheating is hard work. Lying can be terribly exhausting. I recommend taking dietary supplements. He straightens the cuffs on his salmon-coloured jacket, and I have an uncomfortable thought. Am I supping café con leche in the Barcelona sun with a stone-cold psychopath? I ask Arnaise this straight out. He throws his head back, laughing. You're not the first to say this, he says. I don't think so, but you only have one life. When you get old, you will only remember the opportunities you didn't take. Well, the individual concern isn't a psychopath, but he's very much a narcissist. And some of the observations below the line, what a despicable, selfish, dishonourable man who lacks any understanding of love and fidelity. I pity his partner. The response to that is he's also rather ugly. James Quinn, when you get old, you will only remember the opportunities you didn't take. True, I didn't take the opportunity not to read this trivia, and I'll remember. P. Burgess, what an utter door handle. Sounds like he needs help with self-esteem and a moral compass. R. Everett, I wonder if he'll be tipping off his son-in-law when his daughter has grown up, is married with a 6-year-old lying at home in bed. Foul man. Rara Aradia, next week maybe you could do something on the people that believe the world is flat. This chap just has sex addiction issues. Well, as I've explained before, it's not sex addiction, it's narcissism. A. John, nothing like Pep Guardiola, more like a creepy Uncle Fester. An interesting article of somebody that is there preaching about infidelity and quite clearly as a narcissist, demonstrating his sense of entitlement, the prescriptive behaviours in ordering people around in the way that they behave, the self-absorption of his own behaviour, his absence of emotional empathy for his partner in the way that he behaves and the way that he has done in the past, repeatedly cheating, the way that he justifies this behaviour, seemingly trying to ascribe it to some kind of higher purpose through the blame shifting and lack of accountability. What are your thoughts about this individual and what he's doing? Let me know in the comments section. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.